Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Minnesota.
That's gone. That is well into the upper deck.
And career number 100 for Brian Dozier, his 25th of the year.
Last night, Brian Dozier reached a milestone. He hit the 100th home run of his career, also the 25th of the season for Dozier, and his first curtain call. Pretty eventful night for Dozier. It was part of a Twins win over the Royals, and now this afternoon the two teams will play the third and final game of this three-game weekend series from Target Field. This Twins-Royals game on Fox Sports North is presented by Super America. Get your Knothole Kids Day vouchers at any local Super America. Good afternoon from Target Field. I'm Marnie Gellner with Brian Dozier. Brian, the surge has been impressive at the plate. It seems like every day we're asking you about it, but for good reason. How do you describe the offensive zone that you've been in?
Well, everything's been clicking, and you know, I hate to keep using the same cliche. I know it's kind of tiring, but it really is. When we feed off one another, something you didn't see early on in the season. We had a bunch of cold bats, and then everybody started to heat up, and you kind of feed off. One guy hits a homer, you want to do the same thing. One guy drives another guy in, you want to do the same thing. I know I keep saying it, but it really is true, and that's how hitting is, and everything. Everybody seems to be pretty locked in right now, so that's a good thing.
For you, since the middle of June, you've hit 18 home runs just in that span. Has the power or the frequency of the power surprised you at all?
Well, yes and no. The thing about it is one thing I've learned more than ever compared to the previous years is take what the game's giving you. Home runs are not hit; they're thrown. And don't try to do too much with the baseball. And when they do hang the breaking ball or leave the pitches, fastball over the middle part of the plate, those are the pitches you do damage with. And here recently, I haven't been missing them as often, I guess, early on in the season. But it's been a lot of fun so far.
Most of your effective hits are still to left field. You have used plenty of center field. You've used plenty of right field. But you have said all along, you're still a pull hitter. That's who you are. How have you been able to use all fields, yet still stay effective as a pull hitter?
Well, that's what I mentioned earlier. You got to take what the game's giving you. I mean, there's no written rule that the ball in the outer half has to go to right field and not go to left, or vice versa. Depending on, especially nowadays with the shifts and everything, it's a transformation of all of hitting. Where try to stay inside more balls or try to pull more balls, depending on where the defense is and all that kind of stuff. Taking what the game is giving you, and that's probably the biggest thing I've learned this year in all of my career. That you take what the game's giving you, moving guys over, getting them in, and then look up at the end of the season, and you're right where you need to be as far as stats-wise. So.
It's been effective. It's been fun to watch. Thank you so much. Good luck today.
Thank you, Marnie.
Brian Dozier with career home run number 100 last night, but he was one of 3 different Twins players to hit a home run in that game last night, and it's been a trend. Coming up next, Dick Bramer, Bert Blyleven look at slugging on this Sunday afternoon. That's after this.
Twins hope to go into tomorrow's off day with a win, a series win against the defending world champion Kansas City Royals. They have played 500 baseball since May 25th, and in that course of time, the lineup has evolved into one of the most powerful in Major League Baseball. It is a glorious Sunday afternoon for baseball here at Target Field, and we welcome you to Twins Television. Dick Bramer along with Bert Blyleven, and it's been fun to watch this Twins team hitting a lot of home runs and many clutch home runs along the way, and they got a chance to be one of the most powerful lineups in Twins history.
You know, it's not just one guy either. A couple guys that have been carrying it as of late, but overall the Twins, you know, 102 home runs. That's fifth in the major leagues right now as far as since the last 72 ball games. 19 of those ball games they have hit 3 or more home runs like last night. They're 16-3, and they're on pace for 198 home runs, would be third all time in Twins history.
And so basically the Twins need to get 6 home runs in every 5 games for the rest of the season to reach the 200 home run mark, and you can see how the home runs have broken down.
Yeah, the first 45 home runs, you can see so many solo home runs, but over the last 72 ball games, the 2-run, the 3-run home run, even the grand slam by Kepler, those all adding up into Twins victories.
Well, he won't be hitting any home runs. Hector Santiago hopes to not give up any home runs as he hopes to pick up his first win for his new ball club, and the Twins do hope to win the series against the defending world champions. Brian Dozier with career home run number 100 last night. Now he'll work on the second 100, and he's already become the most powerful second baseman that the Twins have had. Rod Carew didn't hit all that many home runs early in his career. It's interesting. He's kind of the one name not on that list you think would be on that list, but of course he hit a lot of his home runs later in his career as a first baseman. Ned Yost hoping that his team can continue to win a series. That's what they hope to do to get back in the race. They've won 3 series in a row. The Menards batting order, and a lot of familiar names: Orlando, Cuthbert, Kane, Hosmer, Morales, Perez, Gordon, and Escobar started the other games in this series. Christian Colon, the one change. He's at second base.
And on the mound this afternoon, it will be Hector Santiago making his third start as a Minnesota Twin, looking for his first win. He's had some pretty good success against Kansas City in his career. Actually, earlier this year, back on July 25th, he beat the Royals 6-2.
And a first pitch fastball missing inside, ball one. That was part of an incredible month of July for Santiago. He was 6-0 with an ERA of under 2 and got some votes for the American League Pitcher of the Month. Then got traded to the Twins.
Yeah, Santiago, not an overpowering pitcher. He'll basically throw the kitchen sink up there. He has 5-6 different pitches. Starting with the fastball, he'll work both sides of the plate. Big thing for Santiago, his pitch count.
High fly to center field. That ball carrying Rosario out and at the wall, leaps and can't make the play. Orlando flying around second. He's got great speed. He'll be held with a triple. Now that ball, when it left home plate, I thought was a medium deep fly ball, but boy, did that ball carry to right center field.
You know, there's not much breeze here, but again, we talk about here at Target Field how that ball, sometimes the wind will blow in from left to right, then it'll swirl. Not a bad pitch, down in the strike zone, just looks like a fly ball to center field. Rosario looked like he was camped under it, just kept going and leaped as high as he could, and it ended up being a triple for Orlando, his 4th of the year.
Chesler Cuthbert fouling the first pitch back. He's one of the fastest guys on a fast Kansas City team, and he just kind of maybe thought too that that ball was going to be caught, and he busted it out of the batter's box. He might have had an inside the park home run. Now a pop up towards Dozier, and Cuthbert fails to get Orlando in. One down. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Bobby Grossman at left, Eddie Rosario in center, Max Kepler in right. A lot of turnover on the left side of the infield, but Polanco and Escobar are back in there again this afternoon. Dozier and Vargas on the right side with Juan Centeno behind the plate. Here's Lorenzo Cain. Twins playing about even with the bases on the corners and deep up the middle in the infield. Cain swings through, strike one.
Now Santiago's had pretty good success against Cain. Cain 2 hits in 13 at bats, and he has struck out 3 times. Santiago can from time to time pick up some strikeouts. So trying to leave Orlando at third base.
1-1. Paul Nart behind the plate. Andy Fletcher, Mark Ripperger, Kerwin Danley on the bases. Had a chance to talk with Kerwin Danley briefly this morning, and he says he's just fine after taking some nasty foul tips last night.
Well, getting ahead of the fastball right now, Santiago. A lot of times that strikeout pitch for him is that good hard breaking ball down and in to right-handers. There's Danley guarding the third baseline.
Only 3 teams in the league have struck out fewer times than the Royals. 1-2 to Cain, and a foul over the Twins dugout.
They try to fastball in, but Santiago, a young man that really throws across his body. Watch his right toe area, the foot area. It almost points toward that first baseline. You know, he used to do that with Joe Mays for the Twins as a right-handed pitcher. There's that breaking ball that he gets a lot of strikeouts on, but just underneath that swing. Cain taking it. This pitch right there. Cain laid off of it.
Now 2-2. High ball right field. Kepler back, and again that ball carrying out onto the warning track. I think we're going to have a lot of runs scored here this afternoon. Fly ball deep enough to score Orlando, and it's 1-0.
Yeah, Cain picking up his 44th run batted in.
Bases empty, a run in, and now Eric Hosmer. Hosmer, a really good first half for the Royals. He's cooled off in the second half. The average down to 274. 1 strike.
For Santiago, he made his major league debut as a reliever. Basically was a reliever with the White Sox when he first came in his first game was against the Kansas City Royals in relief. He threw one shutout inning. His first major league strikeout was Eric Hosmer.
One and one. The Kansas City first baseman. Fouled off a foot. 1-2. You know, for a while now, the White Sox organization has had a lot of depth when it comes to left-handed starting pitching. Of course, Mark Burley was there for many years. John Danks even started this year with the White Sox. You've got Chris Sale. Twins had Pedro Hernandez, whom they got from the White Sox in the Liriano trade. And then this guy. That's to left. Grossman towards the line.
Also Quintana, too. He's a good one.
Quintana, Carlos Rodon. Royals get the first run of the game in their first inning. Range in the outfield, great speed, and a leadoff triple leading to a Kansas City run. And the Twins playing slightly above 500 since the All-Star break. Of course, they went into the break with a lot of momentum with a couple of good series against the Rangers. Here's the Menards batting order for the series and homestand finale. Brian Dozier, Robbie Grossman, Joe Mauer, Kenny Vargas, Max Kepler, Jorge Polanco, Eduardo Escobar, Juan Centeno, and Eddie Rosario.
And for the third time this season, the Twins will take a look at Edison Volquez, making his 25th start. Pitched against the Twins in early April and then also in late May. In late May here, he won 7-4. He's had very good success against the Twins.
And against Brian Dozier, who's just 1 for 12 against him, and he just missed the outside corner on his first pitch. Dozier kind of jump-started the Twins lineup last night with an opening double. And then later hit a home run. 2-0. Volquez has really struggled in his last 3 starts. The starts have lasted a total of 17 innings, and in those 17 innings, he's given up 30 hits. Be another reason why we'll have a high-scoring game here today. This one whacked. Great stop at third by Cuthbert, and safe at first. Dozier gets a hit despite a sensational play by Cheslor Cuthbert.
Cuthbert did a great job of getting that ball. Remember in yesterday's ball game, Brian Dozier started the ball game with the double down that line, but here, a bang bang play, and I believe Kansas City is going to take a look at this.
And it's the first inning. You've got to be very sure you can get the call reversed. But Cuthbert, at the very least, took a double away from Dozier.
Look at him diving right there. That ball headed down into the corner. Cuthbert coming up, kind of double clutch to make sure he got a good grip on that baseball. And the one hop created a bang bang play, and they are going to take a look at it.
It's not an out there now.
Yep.
You can see the ball hitting the back of Hosmer's glove, and Dozier's foot hasn't quite reached the bag. Now, that said, that freeze frame should overturn the call right there. But we've had so many calls like this that have not been overturned, where one frame of video seems to make all the difference in the world. And the Royals taking a bit of a risk here, even though it appeared Dozier was out.
It didn't take him very long.
Out,
and they do call him out.
What a play by Chesler Cuthbert. You know, you have your first at bat, and then you go out in the field. You've got a 1-0 lead. You got to be ready on every pitch. But my goodness, the first ball hit at you like that, you've got to dive hard to your right to catch a hot ground ball, and then come up with a good throw. One down. Here's Grossman,
and he did exactly that.
Down and in, ball one. We saw since the break the Twins are one game above 500. Similarly, they're a game above 500 in the month of August at 7-6. Popped foul, and it's 1-1.
You know, we're talking about home runs too here in the month of August. The Twins have hit 24 home runs, and in 8 of those 13 ball games they've hit 2 or more home runs. But you know, they had that 5 home run game in Cleveland to start off the month, where Kepler hit 3 of them.
Grossman hit a home run last night with a man aboard. A no-doubter to right field.
Yeah, for Grossman, that was home run number 8 and the 5th as a left-handed hitter.
Popped up. Left fielder Gordon under it. Out number 2. That'll bring up the designated hitter, Joe Mauer. Northland Ford defense for the Royals. They are a good group, even though some of the names are different than what we've seen the last couple of years. Gordon's in left. Orlando was in right. He switched places with Payne in the outfield. Cuthbert in for the injured Moustakas. Escobar, very slick fielding shortstop. Colon gets second base today. Hosmer, a multi-time Gold Glove winner at first. And the best catcher in the game, Salvador Perez. 2 down. Here's Mauer. Mauer getting the DH spot, and that's one of the reasons why Miguel Sano is not in the lineup today. Sano also kind of nursing a sore elbow. He's going to have an MRI done during the off day tomorrow, and the hope is, and the Twins believe right now, there's nothing structurally wrong. But Sano's had suffered some painful throwing over the last week or so.
Now, Joe Mauer up in that number 3 hole here today. 9 hits and 22 at bats against Volquez.
Just outside 2-1.
Dave Island, the pitching coach for the Royals, really trying to work on Volquez as far as staying back and getting on top of that baseball. He's been leaving a lot of pitches up.
Drilled to center. That ball hit the mound before Volquez could react to it. A 2-out single will get Vargas to the plate. Let's find Marnie Gellner.
The last time Kenny Vargas played was that first game of the doubleheader on Thursday when he hit a home run from each side of the plate. Vargas said he has done that one other time in his career, this past Winter League in Puerto Rico, and he even knew the date right off the top of his head. He said November 22nd. That's how significant it is. And Vargas said that's not easy to switch during a game from each side of the plate. And Paul Molitor also praised Vargas for being able to be effective as he has been at the plate without being an everyday player. Dickenberg.
Well, thank you, Marnie. And Vargas stands in there left-handed against Volquez. Speaking for those of us who can only brush our teeth with one hand, I've always admired switch hitters, and particularly those who can hit for power. I can't imagine anything in any sport more difficult than hitting for power from both sides of the plate.
Yeah, you know what? There's only been maybe a handful of guys that you could say that had power from both sides of the plate. So Chili Davis's in Twins history.
Chipper Jones, Eddie Murray, Mantle.
Yep.
1-1 to Vargas.
Our own Roy Smalley had some pop from both sides of the plate. I don't know if Nick Punto did or not.
To left center field, retreating is Gordon, and on the edge of the track he's there. Twins get a hit, leave a runner. It's 1-0 Kansas City.
Not in the Twins lineup today. He's been bothered by a sore elbow, and this is our Sanford Health injury report. Paul Molitor confirmed that the Twins will have Sano undergo an MRI tomorrow, but it is just precautionary. Molitor said it's just to make sure that there is nothing more than a tender elbow with Sano, especially because Sano did have Tommy John surgery in 2014, and Molitor acknowledged, yeah, that certainly gets your attention when the guy that had Tommy John surgery tells you his elbow is sore. But he has no reason to believe this is anything more than that. Dick and Bert, it's more to give the Twins and to give Sano peace of mind.
Yeah, thank you, Marty.
And the hope is at some point during the road trip, 2 games in Atlanta, 4 in Kansas City, that Sano will return to third base. 2-1 now to Kendrys Morales.
You know, Santiago making his 3rd start against the Twins. In all 3 starts so far, he's given up at least a run or more in the 1st inning.
High fly center field. And look at Rosario going back on this ball. The wind, and it's not substantial by any means, but it seems to be blowing out towards right field. But in this very vertical ballpark, as Bert suggested earlier, it's a little tricky to gauge sometimes, and just about everything hit in the air to the outfield seems to have a lot more carry than expected.
Even that ball that Grossman hit in the 1st inning, it was Gordon that got underneath it, but he kind of drifted towards center field.
Here's Salvador Perez, and a 1st pitch strike. Typically the ball carries much better here during the daytime. That's true in most ballparks. Hey, I wanted to ask you about Brian Dozier. He was nice enough to visit with Marnie before 1st pitch, and he said something I've heard other people say before, but I wanted to get your perspective. He says home runs aren't hit, they're thrown.
Yeah, well,
you threw a few of them.
I threw a lot of them, but you know what? I mean, I gave up a lot. I gave up, I think, 430 of them. Honestly, say there were probably a handful where I thought I really made a good pitch.
Right.
The guy hit it out, but yeah, you make a mistake and you're expected that a good hitter like Dozier that's swinging a hot bat, they don't miss it. They don't pop it up. He was popping them up earlier in the year. Now he's not popping them up. He's popping them up in the 2nd deck.
And this has something, I think, to do with Brian's altered mechanics, and Roy Smalley did a really good job. The ball driven to right center field. And how far is that going to go? Kepler makes the catch. Roy Smalley talking about how Brian's changed his swing. It seemed from up here that Brian led the league in line drives, hook, foul, and we don't see as much of that anymore. He's hitting the ball more out towards left center and left field instead of pulling those foul balls.
Well, whatever he's doing, it's paying off. Not only home run wise, also average wise.
2 down quickly in the 2nd, and now Alex Gordon. And where Dozier had a difficult first 2 months and got things turned around, the Royals are still waiting for Gordon to do that. He's just had a difficult time all year long. Average just a little bit over 200. And Paul Nart says he went there, and it's 0-2.
And Santiago right back on that pitching rubber, ready to throw toward home plate. And he has to step off here as a little defense change. As Polanco going over towards second base.
Swing and a miss. Gordon's gone on 3 pitches, and a very quick 1, 2, 3 second for Hector Santiago. Twins game on Fox Sports North is presented by Super America. Get your Knothole Kids Day vouchers at any local Super America. With Marty Gellner, Bert Blylev, and Dick Bramer here on just a perfect Sunday afternoon. Royals have a 1-0 lead. Max Kepler leading off the Twins second, threatening to bunt, taking a strike, as I do from time to time, and typically it happens on Sunday afternoons. 20 minutes, half hour before game time, I like walking around the concourse and just seeing the fans and how excited they are to be here, particularly the young kids. Picked a good day to come today, my goodness. Kepler with a 2-hopper to second, 1 away. And that'll bring up Polanco. A nice crowd on hand here too, with in the main level of between the foul poles and foul territory, just about full all the way around on every level.
Well, remember time when we were in the Dome, how many Minnesota Twin fans would come down to Kansas City to watch the Twins play? And I'm sure maybe not as many, but a lot of Kansas City fans.
I saw a lot of that in the concourse too.
School is not in session yet, so making a nice weekend here.
1 strike to Polanco. Talking about Polanco getting the chance that earlier this year was given to Max Kepler. The difference is Polanco's had to play 2 different positions. With Kepler, the Twins just put him in right field and said go play there and have your 4 or 5 at bats a game. With Polanco, a few games at short, now a couple games again at third base. And that's strike 3, and Polanco will barrel out of the box, but Perez throws him out easily, 2 down.
And Volquez picking up his first strikeout.
Today's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by the Silver Bullet. Clean, crisp Coors Light. And the Twins doing better offensively on the road than they have at home this year, but a lot of that gap of more than half a run accumulated during the last few road trips. Twins scored a lot of runs in Cleveland before the break, a lot of runs in Texas. Here's Escobar, and a foul ball over the Kansas City dugout.
Yeah, Twins are 25 and 36 here at home, 22 and 34 on the road.
They need 57 home runs in their final 45 games to get to 200 on the year. And an easy play for Colon. Hector Santiago had an easy second inning, and so too did Edison Volquez. Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. What's yours? A 1-0 Kansas City lead as we move to the third inning. Alcides Escobar will lead things off, then Christian Colon and Paulo Orlando. Way out in front, Escobar with a swing and a miss.
A good pitch right there, because Escobar is a notorious first ball fastball hitter. He loves that swing to bat and a good breaking ball to get ahead in the count.
That's down the right field line, chased by Kepler, and Kepler into a slide, and he did not make the catch, and a foul ball.
Not a lot of room between that line and that short wall that kind of goes up, and Kepler, good effort right there. He had a long way, good concentration, opened up the glove, and just missed the glove as he slid into the wall.
I think that's how you'd want your right fielder to play that, though, to go into a slide.
Oh, definitely.
The wall is padded, but you don't want to be running full steam into it. 1-2 now to Escobar. Breaking ball hit hard to left field.
He left that up.
And the leadoff hit for Escobar here in the third inning.
Yeah, Escobar now 7 hits in 19 at bats against Santiago. And
Christian Colon will
left
hit.
the hanger there. And that's what, you know, Dozier was talking about right there. That is a mistake by the pitcher, and Escobar took advantage of it. A power hitter, more. Escobar not a power, maybe more of a power hitter would have hit that out. Colon looking to butt, and he does.
And no out call is made. Now their first base ump is making the out call. Colon put the ball on the ground with a bunt, advancing Escobar to second, so Colon will get credit for a sacrifice.
And Santiago hopping off that mound pretty quickly as that ball was bunted toward first base line, and decided to tag him himself. Watch the pitcher Santiago go for the ball. Your momentum's going there. Tag him in the back, and the out's recorded.
Be curious. Twins, of course, could have challenged it if it had been ruled safe, but Colon all but stopped running after the tag. If he had sold it a little bit better, they may have gotten a safe call. Here's Orlando with the booming triple to right center field. He takes inside a ball. Orlando very athletic from Brazil. That baseball hotbed, Brazil.
I tell you what, no matter where you are in the world, if you can play, they will find you.
Polanco fires across. Orlando retired, and Escobar stuck at second base. We say, as broadcasters for a team that has a rising star from Germany.
Well, it took Orlando a while to get to the big leagues. 10 minor league seasons. So, not Kepler got here a lot quicker.
Chesler Cuthbert will bat. Made a great play on Dozier's hot ground ball to start the bottom of the first. Took a double away from him and recorded an out. We talk a lot about the home runs, and for both teams, Twins have given up more than they've hit, and how critical they are. Yet it's interesting how often games turn on just other plays that tend to be forgotten a little bit. 1-0. There's a pickoff to second and a better throw. Well, Dozier never caught the ball anyway, but they had Escobar picked off. That's a timing play, and it's kind of timing wasn't perfect, but it takes a little while for a new pitcher and a new second baseman to work this out.
You look for the daylight play right there and the throw into the runner right there. Not a bad throw. You want to throw it right over second base if that is given to you, that little daylight play.
1-0 to Cuthbert. And a bouncer foul. A couple of plays that were instrumental in the Twins win last night. And the Royals had a couple that led them to a win Friday night, but the double play, Escobar started a really neat double play, but also Mondesi's bunt. He laid one on the plate that inexplicably was called foul, and then he popped one up, and they say that he's already established himself as perhaps the best bunter on the team. He's only been with the club 2.5 weeks. He's got 3 sacrifice bunts and 3 bunt hits, but last night he didn't get it done.
Well, you know what? He's a young kid, 21 years old. He's Raul Senior, Raul Mondesi Senior. He was a power hitter. Now this young man is more of a speedster, and he knows his game, and he realizes what maybe a Buxton needs to realize, that he can utilize that bunt and get on base.
A long way foul, and it's 2-2.
Right to a Kansas City Royal fan.
Two and two to Cuthbert. Santiago trying to strand Escobar at second base. And strike 3 to the backstop, and the throw in time to get Cuthbert. Centeno was able to find it, and if anything, he had a longer throw than Perez did. And that will end the top of the 3rd inning. It's still 1-0. Stat with the Royals up 1-0. Twins not homering very frequently in the first month and a half, but since then in the last 72 games, if they had kept that pace up in the last 72 games, they would hit 230 home runs in a full season. So they really picked up the pace in the home run hitting department. They hit 156 home runs last year. And this year already have 143. Centeno's hit a couple of them. And he's got a 1-1 count. Rosario and Dozier will follow. Dribbled up the right field line. And Volquez will pick it up and take care of it himself. One away. And Rosario hit an impressive one last night, his 8th of the year, but it went to the back wall of the left center field bullpen.
Yeah, good to see that power the other way. High sinker right there by G. Has a 2-run home run, and then next batter, Brian Dozier, hit a home run. 11th time this season the Twins have hit back-to-back home runs.
Ned Yost said that Rosario was going to be the last batter that Dylan G faced. And Rosario ended up touching him for the big home run. Then Dozier too. Lifted foul over the Kansas City dugout.
Volquez, the last couple especially have been struggles. He's against Tampa Bay in St. Pete and against the White Sox at home. 11 total innings, 21 hits allowed. You know, and no matter how much of an experienced pitcher you are, and Volquez, this is his 12th year at the major league level. Sometimes you run into little ruts and little bad habits, and he said he was kind of showing more of the palm of his hand toward home plate than staying back and creating that downward plane.
This one to left, going back. Gordon to the wall, leaps and makes the catch. If it's hit to left and it can be caught, that guy will catch it. And Rosario almost hit another opposite field home run.
Yeah, I almost saw a little snow cone too when Gordon not only caught the ball but also ran into the wall. Take a look. This ball hit high and deep the other way, which allows Gordon to go back. And when he caught this ball, you could see a little bit of white.
Paul Molitor had a foot out of the dugout, wanted to check and make sure that that ball didn't hit the wall at any point. And you're right, there was a lot of white showing.
Nice catch though by Gordon.
First time through the batting order, and Volquez has given up just one base hit. Looked like he'd given one up to start the ball game off. Dozier had his hot ground ball picked off by Cuthbert, originally ruled safe at first. Royals challenged and got the call overturned. 1-0. Now 2-0.
Volquez, 33 years old, just turned 33 last month. Came up with the Texas Rangers. He's pitched for now for 6 different major league teams in his second season with the Royals. Made the All-Star team for the Cincinnati Reds back in 2008.
He was plan B a couple of off seasons ago for the Royals as they wanted to augment their starting rotation. Plan A was Irvin Santana, but the Twins stepped up and outbid the Royals for Santana, and then the Royals ended up executing plan B and got Volquez. Ooh, strike called, and it's 3-1. High fly to left field. Gordon going back, carrying to the wall. Dozier with career home run number 101.
Boy, is he on a hot streak. Third straight game that Brian Dozier has hit a home run. And number 26 on the year. You know, he had that streak in Cleveland too, where he hit a home run in 3 straight games. That running ball. Fastball came in on him. Bryant opening up quickly.
You can see
Went into the second deck.
You can see where Perez set up the target away from the outside corner, and the pitch sailed over the inside corner. And right now, that's a big mistake to Brian Dozier. Here's Robbie Grossman, hit a fly to left his first time up. 1 strike. And a soft line drive to Hosmer to end the inning. A warning track fly ball to left by Rosario, and then Dozier hit his about 50 feet further to tie the game. Dozier's home run tied the game in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and now to the 4th, and Lorenzo Cain will lead things off. Cain drove in the Kansas City run with a fly ball to right after Orlando's double, and Santiago starts him low, ball 1. Cain, Hosmer, and Morales in the Kansas City 4th. Two and 0.
Yeah, Hector Santiago making his 8th career start against the Kansas City Royals. He did some relieving against them too. I mentioned when he first came up with the White Sox, his major league debut was in relief against the Royals. But in the 7 starts, very good numbers. 2-1, 2 wins, 1 loss, 2.23 ERA. So one club that he's pitched well against.
Fly ball right field. Kepler back at the wall. Isn't that something?
There's a bandbox today.
Every ball that's lifted in the air is seemingly carrying about 50 feet further than you'd think.
Yeah, we can only react by the outfielders, how they go about their business. Now, Kepler looked like he was going to go to the warning track, maybe catch a warning track fly ball out. I don't know if it's the humidity or what the breeze is doing exactly out there, but it's definitely blowing out toward right field. Cain with that uppercut swing. Kepler going back. It looked like maybe right there is going to catch it instead off the scoreboard out there.
Now Hosmer hit a fly to left his first time up. 3rd inning out of 4 where the Royals have got a leadoff hit. The triple led to a run in the 1st, and now Santiago will try to pitch around the leadoff double. Way outside, ball 1. Doesn't bode well actually for Santiago, who's more of a fly ball pitcher, to be pitching on a day when the ball seems to be carrying very well. 1-0 to Hosmer. And a foul.
Santiago coming from the Angels in late July for Ricky Nolasco. Last I saw, Nolasco had a tough first outing, but then he pitched better in his second start for the Angels.
Alex Meyer got an inning in the low levels of the Angels system last night. First time he's pitched in a ball game since he was with the major league club here in early May. Had some shoulder issues. 2-1 to Hosmer. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Good changeup right there. Santiago adding and subtracting is a big part of his repertoire. He's done a good job against lefties and righties this year. Opponents hitting only 237, left-handers 234, right-handers 238.
2-2 to Hosmer. It's a fair ball. And Centeno looks the runner back at second base. Hosmer retired, 1 away.
Kind of a swinging bunt. Thank you.
September 9th is University of St. Thomas night here at Target Field. A limited number of St. Thomas theme night ticket packages are available that include a game ticket and purple and gray Twins cap. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/St. Thomas or call 800-33-TWINS. One down, Morales, the batter. We talked about Santiago's 6-0 month of July, and this day and age you can't do any better than that. You're only going to get at most 6 starts in a game in a month. Swing and a miss. All 6 starts were quality starts or were on their way to being that. And as impressive as 6-0 is in 1 month, it's who he beat. He beat the Red Sox twice. He beat the Rangers once, and he beat the Royals. Half swing, did he go? Yep, 0-2.
Yeah, again, a good breaking ball right there. Morales unable to hold up. You can go 6-0 and have an ERA of 5, you know, where you run good run support, but you had an earned run average at 1.78. Allowed only 7 earned runs in 35 1/3 innings.
0-2 to Kendrys Morales. And Morales chases that piece.
That's like that screwball type of pitch that Santiago has. And he'll throw the kitchen sink up there. He's got the fastball. He's got the hard breaking ball underneath the swing of right-handed hitters, away to lefties. The slider, the circle changeup, and then that last pitch will turn over like a screwball.
Centeno will go to the mound.
Quick trip to the mound by Centeno. Santiago making his 108th major league start. This is his 166th appearance. 33 wins, 34 losses.
0-2 to Morales. Nice job of blocking a pitch in the dirt by Centeno.
I think Santiago heard his delivery because Kane looked like he was going to try to take off. Dozier's responsibility to try to keep Kane close to second.
Popped up. And it'll spin back over the Twins dugout and out of play. Santiago made his Twins debut against the Indians, and it wasn't a great start by any means. A couple of home runs, 4 earned runs in 5 innings. But it was better than his earlier start against the Indians when he was still with the Angels. An inning and a third, 7 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them earned. And he had a terrible month of June, but then hit the switch in July and had the best month of his big league career. 1-2. And a ground ball foul.
Santiago already has more wins this season than he did with the Angels or any other year with Chicago. Last year, 9 wins, 9 losses, and 32 starts.
Bounce to the right side. Dozier picks it up, has plenty of time to set and fire. And Kane advances to third, 2 away. We'll bring up Salvador Perez.
The catcher, number 13, Salvador Perez.
Not too many 4-game series you'll see the same catcher in all 4 games, but this guy, you know, 2 reasons. I was talking to Drew Butera yesterday about it, and I saw Drew again this morning. That he said, you know, Perez, he wants to play every day. That's the type of guy that he is, but he's always enjoyed hitting here at Target Field, and that's the reason that he doesn't want to take a game off here. There's Drew.
3-game series here, 4 games in Kansas City next weekend, and we may see Perez in all 4 of those games. Away, now it's 2-0.
3-time All-Star Perez.
And shaving the outside corner. From a distance, of course, but in my opinion, there's no player more valuable to his team than the guy in the batter's box right here.
I agree. You know, see
Box
that
tracks
ball
presented by
just
Chrysler.
clipping that black.
And a base hit will make it 2-1 Kansas City. Clutch hit for Perez, and now falling down in left field, it's Grossman, and Perez will go to second base. Not sure how in the world Grossman stumbled in the corner, but it allowed Perez to take an extra base.
Yeah, something created a slippage out there for Grossman. Perez getting an RBI single. The error, I'm sure, will be charged on Grossman. But see the pitch up, and Perez reaching out and lining it in the left field. Robbie Grossman going after the ball.
Now a runner at second, albeit a slow one, and Alex Gordon at the plate.
Let's take a look right there. You see his right foot kind of gave away. The ball kind of came back underneath him a little bit. But an error will be charged for Grossman. To Grossman, his 4th of the year.
1-0 to Gordon. And now a base hit to right. Perez is going to be held at third. And now a little bit of a juggle by Kepler, but still Perez held up at third base by Mike Jerschling.
Hey, a third base coach, you know, you're anticipating that Kepler is going to come up cleanly with that, and with Perez running, of course, not the quickest of foot. But Kepler did have a little trouble getting to this ball. He got to it, but then the ball kind of ricocheted off his glove. So Gordon getting the 3rd hit of the inning.
A couple of big 2-out hits here. One already driving in a run.
Ball hitting the heel of the glove, but Perez stops at third.
Santiago so close to pitching around the leadoff double, but Perez reached across the plate and hooked an RBI single. And now runners on the corners with 2 out, and Escobar the batter. To center and deep. Rosario going back, and can't make the play. And the ball stays in the yard. It'll score 2 runs, and Escobar scampering to third. He's got a 2-run triple, and Mike Jerschling almost had to tackle him to keep him there. So 3 2-out hits, and the Royals have a crooked number here in the 4th.
Well, Santiago this inning leaving some pitches up. And the Royals jumping all over him.
Right down the middle of the plate.
The uppercut swing of Escobar, and the way the ball is flying out towards center off the track. It hit off the wall rather than going over, so Escobar just kept running. It's a 2-run triple for Escobar. His 4th triple of the year.
First time through the order, Royals had just 2 hits. Now they've got 4 hits. Second time through the order, And Colon, the number 9 batter, will have his second at bat.
You know, his last start against the Astros here last Tuesday, we gave up the 2 runs, the 2-run home run to Correa, then settled down nicely in the 6th inning. It's when at the
Colon flattened by a pitch. He'll take first base.
Anyway, in the 6th inning, Santiago gave up 3 runs. Santiago trying to go inside. And that breaking ball getting the left foot of Colon right on that pad. It's probably where he wears it.
Now Orlando, with the Royals getting some clutch hits here in the 4th inning, opening up a 4-1 lead. Orlando started the game with a triple to right center field. Then in the 2nd, ground ball to Polanco. Missing inside, ball 1.
Well, Santiago and Orlando both coming out of the Chicago White Sox minor league system. Orlando signing with the White Sox in 2005 and Santiago in 2006.
Big swing and a miss. 1.
I looked at the minor league stats for both these guys. I don't think that they actually were on the same team. They seem to be missing each other. Both of them played about 5 years in the minor leagues in the White Sox organization.
Pitch left up, fouled straight back. 1-2. Frustrating inning for Santiago. He gave up a leadoff double. And then got Hosmer and Morales, Perez, Gordon, Escobar. All delivered 2-out hits. There's still 2 men on base. Santiago ahead on the count 1-2 to Orlando. Even with the error to Grossman, all the runs are earned. Points with bullpen activity. With abrupt trouble here in the 4th inning. Ryan O'Rourke.
Yeah, this will be pitch number 29 this inning. So you want to stay away from these innings. Santiago having a tough time getting this 3rd out.
In his last start for the Angels against the Red Sox, he threw 119 pitches in 5 innings. A high fly to left field and hit a ton. Grossman back, but this one is gone into the 2nd deck. A 3-run home run, and suddenly it's a 6-run inning with all 6 runs scoring after the 2nd out.
Orlando hitting his 4th home run of the year. And for Santiago, it's his 24th home run allowed. And his 20th to a right-handed hitter. With the uppercut swing of Orlando, and the way the ball is flying here.
Vargas over for a look. Wasn't so hard, was it? There's the 3rd out. But between the 2nd and 3rd out, the Royals score 6 times. Fox Sports North is presented by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. And by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. A big 6 spot put up by the Royals, and now the Twins hitting in the bottom of the 4th inning. Joe Mauer will lead things off in the first pitch strike. Volquez hasn't pitched well, but he also hasn't been given much run support. You better not bellyache about his run support here today.
If I mentioned the hits that he gave up in the last couple starts, 21 hits in 11 innings pitched over his last 2 starts, but he also has given up 11 earned runs. So
Twins hoping to get a couple back here in the 4th inning anyway.
the thing about Volquez against the Twins, this is his 8th career start. He's never given up more than 3 runs in an outing against the Twins.
Working Mauer over inside, but missing again. 2-1.
In the 7 previous starts for Volquez, he is 4-1 with a 2.30 ERA in 6 of the 7 starts. Quality starts.
The outside corner, 2-2. One thing he's done well here so far today, in a day when the ball seems to be flying, he's got the ball in the infield. A strikeout and 5 other infield outs. Two and 2. And now 3-2. Vargas on deck. Full count to Joe Mauer. Drifts outside. And a leadoff walk, just what Volquez didn't want to do, being staked to a 6-run lead.
First walk for Volquez.
Carsoup.com trivia. Which team has had the most different players hit a home run from both sides of the plate in a game? Which team has had the most different players
Hit a home run from both sides.
I just got to be the Yankees, doesn't it? I mean, Mantle, Teixeira, Chili Davis was there for a while. Here's Vargas. Speed pitch over for a strike. Twins have had just 4. Vargas became the 4th. A few years ago we saw Ryan Doumit do it.
Yeah, Roy Smalley and Chili Davis. The other 2.
1 strike to Vargas. And now a ball. An ugly top half of the 4th inning for the Twins, and Volquez knows ugly innings when he sees one. He was a part of one in his start on June 24th against Houston. He gave up 9 runs in the 1st inning. Big pop up, a little spin back and get out of play.
He started the season off very well, and then kind of over the last 13 starts, not the Volquez that they saw last year when he was very, very consistent. He hasn't won a ball game since July 9th in Kansas City against Seattle, and since the All-Star break, that's prior to the All-Star break, he's 0-2 in 5 starts with an ERA at 5.7. So it's been a struggle for him.
1-2 to Vargas. Mauer at first. Check swing foul. In that start against the Astros, he started the 2nd inning and was charged with 3 more runs, 2 of them earned. So his log on that day, 1 inning pitched, 11 earned runs and 12 total.
That is a pitcher's nightmare. That'll keep you up for about 3 days.
1-2. And another foul. Vargas having a nice battle here with the veteran Volquez. He's trying to build an inning after a leadoff walk.
Volquez last year, 13 wins, 9 losses. Very good 3.55 ERA in 33 starts. couple starts in the World Series for the Royals against the Mets.
Two and two. The Royals bullpen this year isn't as good as it has been. Some injuries have contributed to that fact, but it's also exposed a starting rotation that isn't as good as it was last year. And an off-speed pitch, and Vargas is rung up, one down.
And strikeout number 2 for Volquez.
Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Girls on the Run and their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. Registration's now open. You can learn more about how you can get involved this fall by visiting foxsportssupports.com. Here's Kepler, hit a 2-hopper to second his first time up. Off-speed pitch, and Kepler out in front, spins it over the screen.
Yeah, Volquez has a very good changeup. You know, that fastball control, not that best of control. He's walked about 4 batters per 9 innings in 242 starts, major league starts. What about between 7 and 8 strikeouts per 9?
And another check swing foul, 0-2 to Kepler.
95-mile-an-hour fastball. The changeup was about 82, 83.
One and two. As good a week as Kepler had a week ago. Co-American League Player of the Week. All the hits to right field or center field. We haven't seen him pick up many hits to left field. Might be an adjustment that he'll have to make as he's being pitched differently. 1 and 2.
And Perez now going inside.
And that is swatted by Hosmer, and Kepler will reach.
A rare error for Eric Hosmer. 3-time Gold Glove winner, pretty steady over there.
See first baseman do that on low throws. You don't see him swat at the ball like that on ground balls.
See if this ball comes up. He had a couple of them yesterday. You can see right off that lip of the grass and the dirt, and it kind of took off on him.
Yep.
Remember yesterday he had a couple balls he was playing deep first that took a bad hop.
Well, the Twins now with an opportunity to take advantage of an extra out. Royals getting 6 runs after the second out in the top of this inning. Now Polanco will bat. Struck out his first time up. Fouled back. Again with Polanco, it seems like he hits the ball with the barrel of the bat an awful lot. But as we've tried to point out here over the last week or so, he doesn't strike out very often. He struck out in the second, just his 11th strikeout in 83 at bats. Hosmer will get another chance. Feeds Volquez. 2 men in scoring position, and now it's time for the Twins to start some 2-out hitting with 2 men in scoring position.
Yeah, you're not going to get all the 6 runs back at once, but you want to get back into the ballgame. This is a big at bat right here for Escobar. They can drive in a couple runs with a base hit. Take advantage of the air.
Royals trademark over the last 2.5 years now their ability to get some clutch hits in key spots. And now the Twins will need a hit here to jump back into the ball game. Opportunistic is maybe a right word to apply to the Royals over the last 2.5 years. Other team makes a mistake, and then the Royals jump on it. Now the Royals, you can make a case, made a couple mistakes here. The leadoff walk is a mistake, and So too is the error on Hosmer. 1-0. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Bauer walked. He's at third. Kepler reached on an error. He's at second. That's to the left field corner, but twisting foul. Join us Monday, September 5th against the Royals. The Royals coming back here in about 3 weeks for Eduardo Escobar and Friends Labor Day celebration benefiting Venezuelan youth. Special ticket package includes tickets on the Budweiser roof deck, a post-game meet and greet with Eduardo Escobar and other Twins players and more. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/Escobar or call 800-33-TWINS. Now 1-2 to the Twins shortstop. And another breaking ball. You were one because your curve was so good. You threw it for strikes a lot. But you don't see many pitchers. I don't think Volquez has done it. I guess he dropped a breaking ball on Vargas and got a called third strike. But more often than not, it seems like pitchers, Duffy for instance, they won't throw the curve for a strike. They want that ball to end up out of the strike zone.
Yeah, that's more of your strikeout pitch. And Volquez right there, even Polanco got a curveball that it's still a hard pitch to make contact with, solid contact, a good curveball that's down. You know, slider goes sometimes, you know, east to west, where curveball goes more north to south, and it's sometimes hard to square up that curveball over a slider.
Another 1-2 to Escobar.
Unless it's a hanger.
And Escobar hooks that one foul.
Yeah, one thing about Escobar, we've seen Escobar, he likes that ball down. Escobar has 5 home runs on the year, 3 of them as a left-handed hitter, and I guarantee you every one that he hit on this side of the plate was down around shin high.
Volquez again on 1-2. And that's by Hosmer, and 2 runs will score. Hosmer should be charged with his second error of the inning.
Yeah, this is a rare day in Royals history right here. My goodness, Eric Hosmer is going to make 2 errors in 1 inning. That's kind of a flattened breaking ball right here. You can see it kind of hung. That's what I was talking about. It stays up a little bit. Hosmer going over, and the ball scooting underneath his glove. I don't know if he didn't pick it up right off the bat. The ball scooted by.
Well, Twins with a couple of runs here in the 4th inning without the benefit of a hit. Here's Centeno. Down and away, ball 1. A leadoff walk, a strikeout, the first error by Hosmer.
I believe they just gave Escobar a hit. That's what they put on the board. It'll be a 2-run single for Eduardo Escobar. A ball that should have been caught, and Hosmer would say, I should have had that.
Hosmer make that play in his sleep.
Yep.
Well, good for Escobar.
Escobar picking up a couple RBIs, number 30 and 31.
Still unearned runs. And officially now a 2-out hit for Escobar. We'll see if the Twins can keep the line moving. 1-1 to Centeno. A liner caught by the shortstop Escobar. He timed his leap well, and finally the Royals come off the field. It's 7-3.
as we start the 5th inning inside the Minnesota Lottery Winner's Circle with $100 worth of scratch-off tickets for Ron and Steve from Garner, Iowa, who are both celebrating birthdays, not today, but very shortly. And it's a family here of 6. And Steve, Ron tells me that you guys try to come up as a group once a year to try to make a family outing in a Twins game. Why is that?
Family pilgrimage to see the Twins.
And how?
Beautiful day for baseball.
And how has this family pilgrimage been for you?
Excellent.
Well, I appreciate your enthusiasm, Steve.
Hats off to Bert for circling us.
Well, you're assuming Bert has circled you, but yes, I assume as well. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you, Marnie. Yeah, happy birthday, whether it's today or tomorrow, whatever, but happy birthday to both of you.
Another
and everybody. What the heck?
Another visitor from Iowa. Grounder is short, knocked down. Escobar comes up firing. Safe at first. Kane will get credit for an infield hit starting the 5th inning.
Yeah, Kane, you know, good play by Escobar. He did everything right as far as getting over to his right. Knocked that ball down and was hit pretty hard. And picked it up and threw it over, but Kane and his speed ends up getting his 2nd hit.
And our daily geography lesson, Garner, Iowa, a little bit west of Clear Lake and Mason City, a little bit south of Forest City, and a little bit east of Algona, Iowa. Leadoff man is on for the Royals for the 4th time this afternoon. And that's chopped foul, 1 strike. Santiago still out there, even though he gave up 6 earned runs in the 4th inning. And regardless of how long he pitches or how well he pitches, this will be another poor start by the Twins starting pitcher.
Well, 74th pitch or 75th pitch coming now.
And Hosmer a little upset perhaps with his fielding here today. Tried to hit one to St. Paul. 0-2. You know, you'll see big swings from these Royals hitters, Kane and Hosmer, but then you'll see a different approach with 2 strikes. We'll see if Hosmer tones the swing down a little bit. The Royals, very difficult team to strike out. 1-2. Hosmer's yet to strike out 100 times. His 97 strikeouts, 2 behind Alex Gordon for the team lead. The Royals don't have anyone yet with 100 strikeouts on the season. One and 2. Runner goes, and a pitch pop foul.
Now Kane getting a very good jump right there after a couple of throwovers. He went on first movement. Kane has 9 stolen bases in 13 attempts.
And we talked about the Royals being opportunistic, and that's how they run the bases too. They're looking for every opportunity to take another 90 feet on you, whether it's first to third on a hit to the outfield, stealing bases. Very intelligent base running team. And loop to left, a base hit. So Kane takes off on a foul ball, and maybe Santiago a little more apt to throw a fastball, and Hosmer with a base hit to left. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. You can watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout, other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Yeah, it looked like Ryan O'Rourke was warming up in the bullpen, so Santiago's afternoon is done. It was not a good one.
First and second, nobody out, with a pitching change in the 5th. starts after the month of his professional career in July. Knocked out here in the 5th inning. 4 innings plus. 7 earned runs so far, and he's responsible for the 2 men who are out there now for Ryan O'Rourke.
Yeah, Ryan O'Rourke just getting called up. He was up earlier this year, back on April 16th to May 6th. He was with the ball club. Made 8 relief appearances, a total of 7 1/3 innings. He walked 5 strikeouts, no record, ERA at 4.91. Now he was pitching very well down in AAA. Kind of 1 inning at a time, 33 relief appearances, 28 innings, only gave up 6 earned runs, 29 strikeouts.
Fastball away. Morales at the plate. A fly to center and a ground ball to second. O'Rourke trying to get a ground ball here. Maybe 2 outs on 1 pitch. 2-0.
Well, one thing we have seen from O'Rourke, he likes that slider. He was up last year, appeared in 28 games out of that bullpen.
Nobody on the Royals has grounded into more double plays than Morales. 14 times he's done that. Now a big swing and a foul back. Twins really handed 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th. That's why they're trying to keep this a 7-3 ball game. And it might very well been that if things had gone differently earlier in this homestand, that Santiago would have been taken out after the rough 4th inning. But given all the short starts through the 4-game losing streak, we're trying to get an extra out or 2, maybe a full inning out of Santiago, but it didn't work out.
Well, in that doubleheader, what did we see? We saw Andrew Albers have to come out of the bullpen, pitch 6 innings.
Yeah. You can't call on him again. That was just 2 days ago.
He's not here either.
Yeah, it's true. Well, you never know.
He could be.
Call him back.
Well, then, here on Friday, the first game of this series, Pat Dean had to come out of the bullpen. 3 very good innings.
Dean is still here.
Yes, he is.
3-2.
And to continue Albers, he wishes he was still here.
Designated for assignment after heroically pitching 6 innings. And a base hit to left. Kane to third. Will be held. Talked about the Royals and their base running. It's one of their strengths. You don't see them running through stop signs either. Mike Jerschley at third base. Kane was barreling around third, and he wanted to try to score a run, but the coach stopped him.
No, but you know what? That's what you want that runner to do, because it forces the outfielder's hand as far as making a good throw to hurry it and get it back in. One little mistake, maybe Grossman drops the ball, fumbles it. Well, then Jerschman can just keep safe, just keep going.
Bases loaded now for Salvador Perez. Perez, in his last at bat, reached across the plate and hooked a 2-strike, 2-out single to left, and that was damaging enough because it put the Royals in front 2-1. But then Gordon singled, Escobar tripled, Colon was hit, and Orlando hit a home run. And before you knew it, the Royals had 6 runs on the board. 2 strikes. Centeno taking a foul ball. Polanco a step or 2 behind the bag at third. Vargas well off the line, even with the base at first. Force at any base.
Ryan O'Rourke, 28 years old, signed by the Twins in 2010.
One and 2. Blocked by Centeno. 2-2.
Basically fastball, slider, that last pitch, the changeup.
Hit hard, but it'll hook foul.
Yeah, that slider stayed up.
Being out hit 10-3. They're trying to stay in this game in the 5th inning. And that's doinked foul over Rusty Kuntz's head. Perez got the big hit of the ball game Friday night. Had his bat shatter in his hands, but he dropped a little pop-up into very short left field. And now a swing and a foul tip. Centeno hangs on. And there's out number 1.
O'Rourke getting the first out on the strikeout. Well, fastball up and Perez swinging through it. Maybe got a piece of it. Ball ends up in Centeno's glove. Yep. Like a foul tip.
And now Gordon. Strike 1. Gordon's only bounced into 7 double plays, and that's exactly what Rourke would love to get here. Keep this a 7-3 ball game. Two strikes.
There's that slider. That's O'Rourke's strikeout pitch, especially against lefties. That hard slider down and away.
Missed, and it's 1-2. Gordon's next strikeout will be his 100th. Just missed with the fastball. Up, maybe outside. 2-2.
After all those sliders,
yep,
trying to get the fastball over.
Outside. How many? 1, 2, a double play. And O'Rourke pitches out of a real mess in the 5th. Undue fans of the game on a beautiful Sunday afternoon, hoping the Twins can come from behind and take the final game from the Royals. And the Twins are hoping that a mid-inning double play will turn the game around as it did last night. Bases loaded, nobody out, and O'Rourke ended up not allowing another run. Here's Rosario, and he got a pitch up and fouled it straight back. Twins are 7th in the American League in runs scored suddenly. Only the Red Sox, the Indians, the Rangers, the Blue Jays, the Orioles, and Tigers are ahead of them in runs scored. And that'll bleed through a base hit. Rosario aboard with a leadoff single here in the 5th.
Hey, you know, Twins got back into this ball game with 2 in the bottom of the 4th. Let's see if they can get a 2 or more this inning.
Brian Dozier tied the game with a 3rd inning home run. 19 home runs in a little less than 2 months, leading Major League Baseball. Came into the game just 1 for 12 against Volquez. Had a double taken away from him. A brilliant play by Cuthbert in the 1st inning. Then homered into the 2nd deck in the 3rd. Squaring to bunt, taking a strike. Twins playing .500 baseball since May 25th. But on May 25th, before that game started, they were 11-34, winning less than a quarter of their games. And it seems hard to believe. This team that's offensively played so well. And Perez on a snap throw to first. 1-1. I mean, we lived through it. We watched the 34 losses up until May 25th. But this team is playing so much better baseball than they did the first month and a half. One and one. Rosario stumbled as he took off, and he is safe at second. Perez opted to throw from his knees, and he nearly threw Rosario out because it looked like he slipped a little bit or stumbled about a third of the way to second base.
First of all, he had to try to, get this breaking ball in his glove. Watch this right here. The ball in the dirt. He backhanded it. It's such a solid arm, but Rosario getting that left hand sure looked like on the bag before the quick tag can be applied by Colon.
Now pop up almost on top of the second base bag. And Dozier's retired, 1 away. I'll bring up Grossman.
So Rosario picking up his 5th stolen base.
Grossman 0 for 2, fly to left, and a soft line drive to Hosmer in the 3rd. Foul back. Grossman came to the Twins with the reputation of being able to play all 3 outfield positions, but he's been essentially just a left fielder for the Twins. Haven't seen him in center. We saw 1 game in right field very early when he came over. And a strike called, 0-2.
A good breaking ball there by Volquez. Volquez has 1 walk, a couple strikeouts, giving up only 4 hits.
Grossman entered the game with an on-base percentage of .389, which if he played all year with the Twins would be 5th in the American League. I got a piece. Volquez relying so much on his off-speed stuff.
Yeah, he's always a guy that he'll show you the fastball, but he's got an outstanding changeup. He hasn't thrown that changeup as much as I think he's thrown the curveball here this afternoon.
Two strikes to Grossman. Jacked his swing. And it's 1-2. Now he might have, sure he did. Friday night he watched Giordano Ventura and his ability to throw a good breaking ball and get a lot of swings and misses. One and two. Oh, when did you start really locking in? All right, let's use this series as an example. You were pitching the third game. When did you really pay attention to what the hitters were doing and how they looked at the plate?
I would come out for batting practice and watch the opposing team hit.
But in the 3-4 days that you didn't pitch.
Right. I would watch as much batting practice as I could. Say I go to Seattle and you watch Edgar Martinez if he's swinging a good bat. You know, you go out there and see. And you
Edgar always swung.
I know, but there are certain things that, you know, you come out early. Maybe a guy's working on a particular thing and you want to see that. But I also sat in the dugout all the time when I wasn't up in the clubhouse. I was on the bench watching and trying to pick up something.
1-2 to Grossman. And Perez gets most of it.
And you know, it's different now with the umpires all under one hat, but that would be another thing I would always do. And if it's the first game of the series and I'm pitching the third game, I would go out when the umpires come out. Who's at second base? I want to know who that umpire is. And
send them flowers and a box of candy.
Well, there are certain umpires you felt that would give you maybe a little bit more on a certain pitch. Now, would call my curveball better than some.
Grossman chases. It's a strikeout, 2 down, and that'll bring up Mauer.
And Volquez picks up his third strikeout. Fastball away, just kept running away from Grossman.
Garbage time with Katie Nolan has been called epic, witty, and refreshing. The future of sports TV. Don't miss an all-new episode of the Emmy-winning sensation Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. Central on FS1. Twins got a 2-out hit to score a couple of runs in the fourth, and they'll need one now to score it all here in the fifth after the leadoff single and stolen base.
Well, Joe's been on 2 times, a base hit in the first, and then he walked to lead off the bottom of the fourth.
Fastball sailing away.
Joe came into the ball game against Volquez, 9 hits and 22 at-bats with a home run. He's 1 for 1 in this ball game.
And a strike, 1-1. Volquez, decent pitch count, trying to wrap up the fifth inning here with fewer than 80 pitches.
He had that tough inning last inning where he needed 28 pitches to get through the fourth. With 14 in the first, 7 in the second, 13 in the third.
Breaking ball down and in.
Volquez from the Dominican Republic, originally signed by the Texas Rangers back in 2001. He said as a kid he idolized Pedro Martinez. If you're from the Dominican Republic and you want to pitch, why wouldn't you?
Mauer 10 hits, 23 at bats against Volquez. Twins trying to get back in the game. 2-1. This ball swing and a miss. Again, it's a fastball. How'd you put it? He shows it to you. I don't know how often he throws it for a strike. He struck out Grossman on a fastball up and away.
Right after throwing breaking balls and changeups, and he sneaks that fastball by. That fastball, last one to Joe, clocked at 94.
2-2. Base hit left field. Mauer delivers. Rosario will score. And the Twins with 2 outs get some hits here to get back into the ball game.
He tried to go back-to-back fastballs at 94. He threw the first one by him, but not the second one. So another fastball and had some tail on it, and Joe just hitting it sharply the other way. Gets his second hit of the ball game, driving in his 43rd run. That's a 7-4 ball game.
And now Vargas, who's 0 for 2, a fly to left, and he was called out on strikes when Volquez dropped a breaking ball into the strike zone. And Vargas with a wild swing and a miss.
Yeah, that's that changeup right there at 81 miles an hour.
Now 0-2. More off-speed stuff. He just teases you. And then if he ever does throw Vargas a fastball, it probably won't be in the strike zone. Oh, 2 to the Twins' first baseman. Checked his swing.
That's the curveball. Eight pitches in the fourth. This will be pitch number 22 here in the fifth.
Fastball. And Vargas checks his swing and fouls it back.
Yeah, changeup, curveball. Then he tried to sneak the fastball by him.
One and two. 2-2.
Another changeup.
Seems like with every pitch, Colon, second baseman, takes another step backward into right field. He's back there a piece. Fouled back.
6 pitches in this at bat. He's seen one fastball and kind of a check swing. Foul ball. Three changeups, 2 curveballs, and a fastball.
And now 3-2. Kepler on deck. Good battle for Vargas here. He had a decent battle, saw a lot of pitches in the 4th inning before he finally took a called third strike.
Hosmer playing behind Mauer. He'll get a good lead, extra base hit. Would be nice. Outfield playing pretty deep for Kansas City.
A chip shot wide of third. Cuthbert looks like he's got a play. He makes the catch on the warning track.
Got him out on a changeup.
Twins get a 2-out hit from Mauer to get another run back. It's 7-4. 6th spot for the Royals in the 4th. And the Twins trying to dig out of a big hole. They're halfway there as we go to the 6th inning.
Yeah, got to like what the Twins have done. Now it's up to O'Rourke and whoever follows him to keep the zeros coming. Worked out of a great situation last time. Bases loaded, nobody out. Struck out Perez and then got Gordon to hit into the double play.
Escobar, Colon, and Orlando facing O'Rourke. And that's to the backstop, ball 1. O'Rourke gave up a base hit to the first man he faced, but got out of it. Bases loaded, nobody out. And if the Royals had gotten a hit at any point after that, it would be an entirely different ball game. Now the Twins feel that they're back in the thing. Strike on the outside corner, 1-1.
Escobar not liking that call.
6 runs for the Royals in the 4th. They hit for the cycle that inning. And Escobar delivered a 2-run triple. Bouncer to third. Polanco waits. Chest high hop. 1 down. And that'll bring up Colon. Twins will see a lot of the Royals. We mentioned the 3-game series wrapping up here today. 4 games next week. And then we also mentioned Royals come back here in about 3 weeks. Twins have gone, what, 10 weeks without playing the Royals, and now they'll get a steady diet of one another.
Yeah, since late May. It's the first time they've seen the Royals.
1-0 to Colon. And Polanco tries to charge. I don't think he needed to.
Yeah, and a little more time to wait for that nice hop. And it'll be an error charge to Polanco for the Twins, their 2nd error. That's 90 errors now for the Twins on the season.
Committed 86 all of last year. Paul Molitor will come out here. He was only able to get an inning and a third from O'Rourke.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Not much solid contact at all, and got the Twins through the 5th. And now an error, putting a man aboard with 1 out. And we'll have a pitching change. 7-4 Kansas City. Best first base coaches in the game. It's not just what he does in the coach's box, but his preparation and his ability to spot things. Really helped the Royals base running over the last few years. Michael Tonkin comes out of the bullpen, hoping to get another ground ball double play.
Yeah, Michael making his 51st relief appearance. He worked in game 1 here on Thursday against the Astros. Pitched well, 2 shutout innings in that 15-7 loss to the Astros. Now the big thing for Michael Tonkin is try to keep Colon close to first, because he has 13 stolen bases against him in 14 attempts for the opposing base runners.
You line out.
Tonkin averaging over a strikeout, 68 strikeouts in 58 2/3 innings pitched.
Orlando with a triple and a first and a 3-run home run that right now is the difference in the game. That came in the 4th inning. And Tonkin buries a fastball in at strike 1.
He seemed a little quicker right there. A lot of times we'll see him bring that left knee up, but almost like a slide steps. I'm sure they've been working with him on trying to get that ball quicker toward the catcher.
Ordinarily, Colon not much of a base stealing threat, but that hasn't mattered much with Tonkin on the mound. There's a leg kick.
There's a higher leg kick.
And you don't have to do it all the time, do you? If you vary, you see pitchers all the time. It'll be a slide step on one pitch and then the big leg kick on the next.
Tonkin basically fastball, slider, occasional changeup.
Slider missed the outside corner. 2-1.
Michael, a tall drink of water, 6'7", about 220. He's in his 4th season with the Twins. Out of options after spring training, made the ball club, and he's pitched well.
Two and 1. 3-1. And of course, what you want is more diligence and paying attention to a runner without it distracting your job in getting the hitter. Orlando's already had great impact for the Royals in this series, and now he's got a 3-1 count. Fouled away, 3-2. Tonkin, a strikeout pitcher.
Colon at first base last year stole 3 bases in 5 attempts. This year he's 0 for 1. Let's see if Ned Yost has him going here.
66 strikeouts, 311 at bats. Colon doesn't go, and the pitch is ball 4.
Tried that sinker to 2-seamer down and in and missed down and in.
Now 1st and 2nd, and Cuthbert will bat.
Tonkin walks his 20th batter on the season and 58 2/3 innings.
Cuthbert 0 for 3, a couple of pop-ups and a strikeout. Cuthbert's bounced into 12 double plays and 318 at bats. Up and away with a fastball.
Cuthbert just 23 years old, 2nd season with the Royals. Royals very high on this young man out of Nicaragua. Ouch.
Fastball ran in on the handle of the bat.
Cut in the kitchen.
1-1.
Come on, Chuck.
Two and 1. Twins have only beaten the Royals twice so far in the season series. Both games started by Tyler Duffy.
Centeno out there to try to get the Tonkin back in that strike zone with that good sinker. It's been 4 double plays turned behind Michael while he's been on the mound.
Two and 1 to Cuthbert. Ground ball to 3rd.
Oh boy.
Juggled by Polanco. He'll have no play.
That's a tough play. That ball came up and hit him off the chest. Bad hop right there. Looks like it might be a double play if he can field this ball. He was heading over to third base for the force out.
Should be the second error on Polanco. And now the Twins, another bases loaded, 1-out situation. And Kane at the plate. Ball one. Earlier we saw the Twins get a couple of runs when Hosmer probably should have been charged with 2 errors in 1 inning, and now Polanco has been charged with 2 errors in 1 inning. One and 0. And a base hit to center. It'll score 2. Throw back to second base. A 2-run single for Kane. And the Royals push a lead out to 9-4.
Yeah, Kane picking up his 3rd RBI of the ball game with that 2-run single. So they do take advantage of a couple errors by Polanco. It's a 9-4 ball game.
Paul Molitor coming out here. He's got to make a pitching change.
Fastball that came about belt high. Kane hitting it sharply in the left center.
Tonkin faces 3 men, doesn't retire any of them. Polanco committing an error and a walk and a single, and the Royals lead by 5. In the 6th, have already added 2 more runs. Taylor Rogers will come in to try to put a lid on this 6th inning.
Yeah, and he had a tough outing in his last starting game 1 on Thursday against the Astros. He did not get an out, almost like Tonkin did, but he did give up 3 runs, 2 earned, with a couple walks and a hit. But all in all, Taylor Rogers, I think, has done a good job out of that bullpen. Just a bad outing. He needs a better one here.
With what's happened around him, he has become an option, a left-handed option for the Twins in winnable games. But here he enters the ball game with the Twins down by 5. Centeno glides to his left. Ball 1. Hosmer with a single his last time up. Finally chasing Santiago. Wasn't hit particularly well, but Santiago gave up 9 hits in 4+ innings. 7 earned runs. Dribbled. And Hosmer is tagged halfway to first base. Everybody moves up a base. We've had 3 pitcher unassisted putouts in this game.
Yeah, Rogers 25 years old. His twin brother Tyler is in the Giant organization. This year started at AA. Now he's in AAA. He's pitching very, very well as of a couple days ago. 10 saves in the minor leagues. There's a chance I talked to Taylor about that. Does he have a chance to come up? He's not on the 40-man roster.
Strike at the knees.
Not on the 40-man roster with the Giants.
Right. Giants leading the National League West. 1 strike to Morales. 2 strikes to Morales.
He's shown good control. Changes speeds on his curveball, adds and subtracts. Centeno sitting away. Another fastball just missing away.
One and 2. Liner to left. Grossman coming in and no, he didn't make the catch. And 2 runs will score. He came in and about waist high, put leather on it, but didn't catch the line drive.
Yeah, the ball had some sink on it, and he tried to. Should be another error. So the 3rd error of the inning. Ball had some sink on it, but you can see it hit the glove and bounced out.
It's been a bad game. Bad mistakes on the mound, in the field, particularly bad inning.
Yeah, Grossman with his 2nd error of the ball game.
Now lifted to right field, and Kepler's got to chase this towards the corner, but it's back in the seats.
You can see Morales saying, "Oh boy, line drive, but got to pick up the ball." He looked at Rusty Kuntz. He said, "How about coming to first?"
Yeah, if he'd have peeled off, they could have gotten the old 7-3 ground out to end the inning. Another one flipped foul toward the seats. Two strikes to Salvador Perez. Now the Royals are below 500, but obviously reigning world champions, you just can't make mistakes against them. Shouldn't make the mistakes that have been made here in this game in the field against anybody. But if you're going to beat the Royals as the Twins did yesterday, you got to bring your A game.
Well, you end up beating yourself.
Well, happens to be the Royals, but as poorly as the Twins have played here today, they wouldn't have beaten anybody. A 6-run 4th, thanks to a succession of 2-out hits. And now a real mess here in the 6th. 3 errors in the inning. 2-2 to Perez. And Rogers finally gets the Twins off the field. But the Royals score 4 and they'll lead by 7. And the Royals scored 4 times. And Edison Volquez out there now to pitch to the Twins with a comfortable lead. Twins got some, they thought, clutch hits. With 2 outs in the 4th, a single drove in 2, another 2-out single in the 5th. Got him back within 3, but now it's 7.
Well, you know, the first 3 innings were pretty good for Volquez. He just gave up that home run to Brian Dozier, a single to Mauer, but last couple innings, it's been a challenge for him. 54 pitches to get 6 outs.
Strike on the outside corner. Kepler, Polanco, and Escobar will hit in the 6th.
Volquez has given up 4 runs, only 2 earned runs. Both the runs in the 4th inning were unearned.
Cologne to Hosmer, 1 away. See Max do that. A lot of ground balls to the right side in this homestand. Here is Polanco. Twins are hopeful that everything will be just fine with Sano's MRI that will be conducted tomorrow during the off day. And then the hope is that Sano will get back to third base, but then there's Trevor Plouffe. Had a couple of days off in a row in advance of the off day. So the what's the best way to describe the situation at third base?
The merry-go-round. Well, you don't know. I mean, you got Polanco, you got Plouffe, you got Sano. You want all of them to get good playing time, but you also have to look what's going to be the future of this club. Is it going to be Sano at third base? Is it going to be, Polanco at short or third? Where's he going to play if he fits in the picture?
I asked Paul about that without having seen the Kansas City lineup. I knew Hosmer was going to be in the lineup. I knew Escobar, Perez, so on and so forth. And I asked Paul this morning, I said, do you want to get to a point, whether it's Labor Day or later than that even, where you can run guys out and it's going to be this guy in that position in that spot in the batting order, for the rest of the way, just to get a little continuity? And he says we're just not there yet. He says on the right side of the infield and outfield, he's pretty well set. It's Dozier, Mauer, and Kepler in those 3 spots. Fouled back, but he said, we don't have the players to put in like Ned Yost does on an everyday basis. They're still trying to figure it out. 2 strikes to Escobar.
Well, one thing you don't want to do, and I wouldn't think Paul would want to go into spring training next year having the same situation he has now, as far as who's going to play where. You want everybody to know what their roles are. Right now there's a lot of guys don't know what their roles are.
That's to left, and Gordon will come in and make the play. Nice play, charging on the line drive, and it's a 1-2-3-6. Your second 3-home run game for Mookie Betts. Diamondbacks are in a free fall right now. They're a record not much game or two better than the Twins. Steven Matz against the Padres took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. And Ryan Braun with 6 runs batted in, a couple of home runs against the Reds.
Yeah, there was a lot of high hopes in Arizona with Dave Stewart taking over as general manager, Tony La Russa joining the club.
Zach Greinke signed to the big contract.
Right.
Chip Hale starting to feel a little heat. Here's a roller headed up the middle, and Dozier bobbles it. We'll see how that is ruled. I'm guessing a base hit. And it is a base hit for Gordon on the first pitch of the 7th inning.
Gordon gets his second hit of the ball game. This one, Dozier would have to make a nice play and a quick throw. If we've seen him do this before. The ball kind of came up on him.
Escobar with a single and a 2-run double in the 6-run 4th. The Royals have had a couple of big innings. A 6-run 4th and then a 4-run 6th. I guess there's some weird symmetry to that, or irony.
5 of the 7 innings, the Royals have been able to get that leadoff hitter on the base paths.
1 strike to Escobar.
It's getting a tough time to get that first out.
Flip foul the other way. Oh, the ball boy. Leaping effort.
We might have some of the best ball boys as far as, you know, their plays in a game of baseball. Young man's made some nice plays down there. So down the left field line.
That's to center. And Rosario pursuing it and tracking it down near the edge of the track. Escobar just stuck the bat out, put the barrel on it to his credit, but that ball sailed all the way to the warning track. 1 down. And that'll bring up Cologne. Other finals of note: Tampa Bay beat the Yankees 12-3. Marcus Stroman pitched the Blue Jays to a 9-2 win over Houston. Foul back. The Angels right now leading Cleveland 4-3 in the 6th, trying to end a 9-game losing streak. They are so far 0-8 on this road trip. And they've had 4 straight rain delays in Cleveland. But it's Mark Gubas's birthday, so it's a happy day for.
That way, Gooby, happy birthday to you.
For the broadcast crew. 2 strikes to Cologne. On the ground foul behind Rusty Kuntz. White Sox lost 5-4. And won a couple of ball games, trying to get back to the 500 mark. You look at the standings, and we've talked before about how if you can stay at 500 or even slightly above, you're going to have some meaningful games in August and September. But I'm not so sure that a team like the White Sox, I mean, if you're underwater, you're underwater, right? It doesn't make any difference whether it's 3 inches or 3 feet. And the White Sox just can't seem to get to and get over the 500 mark. 2-2. Chris Sale started today, and they still lost. In fact, Sale himself took the loss. And Cologne swings and misses.
A good breaking ball right there, and Rogers picks up his 2nd strikeout.
Twins have an off day tomorrow, so it's pretty much all hands on deck here today as they try to get through this game.
Well, Rogers averaged at about a strikeout per inning pitched. Picks up his second.
Paulo Orlando. Check swing and a called strike. Royals have a dozen hits, and Orlando has maybe the two most meaningful ones. A triple off the fence in right center field to start the ball game. He later came in on a fly ball, and then a big 3-run home run. Chopper over the mound, and Escobar juggles it. Wouldn't have had a play anyway. Orlando runs like the wind, and the inning continues.
Orlando picking up his third hit. He scored 3 times. He has 3 hits. He's driven in 3 runs. Nice afternoon.
There's
Orlando.
a chance he'll get another at bat with a chance for the double to complete the cycle.
Seeing the exchange right there. Escobar knew he had to hurry his throw.
Chesler Cuthbert is 0 for 4. He reached on a Polanco error his last time up. And Polanco catches his smash and fires to Vargas to end the inning. Couple of hits there left aboard. Royals comfortably in front 11 to 4. It's a gorgeous Sunday afternoon, and it is our pleasure to bring you God Bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as Land O'Lakes Barbershop choruses lead us in the singing of God Bless America.
In the game, the Royals threatening to take this series 2 games to 1.
Yeah, really the only offense of the Twins here was Brian Dozier's 26th home run of the year after hitting 25 and 100 yesterday. But the Royals, it's just been kind of an ugly game defensively for the Twins. Early on, they were hitting the ball over the outfielders' heads. There's a home run right there by Orlando. Miscues by the Twins, a couple outfield errors, a couple infield errors. But the 6-run 4th inning, that hurt, and then 4 unearned runs the 6th inning.
Juan Centeno will lead off the home half of the 7th. Twins down by plenty. And Centeno will hope to start a comeback against Chris Young. 2-0.
Chris Young now in the bullpen, making his 24th appearance. He did make 13 starts for the Royals earlier this year. Young in his 2nd season with the Royals. One of the taller pitchers in baseball, 6'10".
Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2.
Young spent some time on a disabled list back in the middle of May. Some right arm, forearms tightness, and then activated about 2 weeks later.
Within every championship season, lowest pitch, and Centeno will take a walk. You know, there things obviously break right for you as a team. That's why you end up winning the World Series. But there are, I bet you, on every World Championship team, there are just individual stats that are put together that no one would ever expect. Who would have thought last year that the Royals would get 11 wins from Chris Young? And an ERA of just barely over 3. I mean, he was really, really good for them last year.
He pitched great for them.
I don't know who the candidate would have been on your 79 Pirates team or on the 87 Twins team, but there's one guy that just, whether it's a position player or a pitcher, he can't explain it. He just had a great year that year.
I think it was for the Pirates in 79. It was the middle infielders, Tim Foley and Phil Garner combined hit probably 280, 290 both together. And there were, you know, 250 type hitters.
Right,
but they played great defense. They stayed healthy all season long. Omar Marino out in center.
1-1 to Rosario.
When you win a championship, you expect your stars to have the normal year that they have. You need other guys to step up.
There were times last year when Young absolutely saved the Royals pitching staff. Now, he benefited maybe more than anyone else from the great bullpen. But, you know, he gave up he had an opponent batting average of 202.
Yeah, Young's been around the game.
So is Dave Island, his pitching coach. 1-2. And fouled back.
Yeah, Chris Young, 36 years old, signed by the Pirates back in 2000. Actually, he made his major league debut against the Twins when he was with the Texas Rangers back in August of 2004. Started that day against the Twins in Texas, got a no decision in the Rangers' 5-4 win over the Twins.
The Twins had John Roush, a relief pitcher who was 6'11". Young is 6'10". And a guy you got to know a little bit, Luke Van Meel, was in the minor league system, then was with the Angels, came back to the Twins. I think he was released last year at 7'2".
I'll see him probably in February for a WBC team.
Rosario swings and misses. A strikeout, 1 down.
The thing about Young, you know, yeah, it's 6'10", but if you watch his release point, it's straight over the top. So it's like coming from the moon.
And it's the vertical release, you know, but then, you know, with his long legs, the ball is released even closer to home plate. So you know, it might say 89 miles per hour, but it kind of reacts like a 72-mile-per-hour pitch because, you know, he's got an extra foot with his stride that somebody's standard height doesn't have.
Well, you would think, how come this guy doesn't play basketball? You know, 7 foot tall almost. Well, he had an offer to play basketball in the NBA for Sacramento Kings, but he chose baseball.
1-1.
Played some basketball out of Princeton University.
One to Dozier. 2-1. Re-emerged as a back of the rotation guy the year before with the Mariners. 29 starts for the Mariners. He won a dozen ball games for Seattle. 2-1. 2-2.
Good pitch right there. He's not overpowering. You'd think a guy this big is going to throw, 95, 96 miles an hour. Changes speeds well. A nasty little slider.
Royals signed him on March 7th of last year. They'd already been in camp for 2.5 weeks, and then they signed him, and he stepped up and won 11 ball games for them. 2-2 to Brian Dozier. 3-2. He's thrown 17 pitches and only 7 strikes. Back.
Brian Dozier, after a pretty slow start, first 51 ball games, hitting only .206. You can see the only 6 home runs, and oh boy, over the last 62 ball games, he has picked it up.
Ball tip, and the bat's still alive. Goes for a little stroll after taking that foul tip. And Dozier letting the catcher get himself ready for the next pitch. Take his time doing so. JT Chagua warmed up. Looks like he'll pitch in the 8th inning. Grounder to third. Cuthbert to Cologne. A double play that wraps things up in the 7th.
Sports update. The Twins move on to Atlanta now for a reunion with the team they beat for the World Series title back in 1991. Our coverage begins at 5:30 Tuesday night with Twins Live before the first of 2 games of the Braves. The Twins' first trip to Atlanta in 3 years.
And Paul Molitor said on his radio show today he's never seen a baseball game in Atlanta. Of course, when he was playing with the Twins, Interleague had just started, and we were kept within the National League Central in the years that he was playing, and was a coach for a year before he took over the manager's job last year. JT Chargois entering the ball game here, pitching to the Royals in the 8th inning.
Yeah, Chargois making his 3rd relief appearance since being recalled. He worked here Friday, the first game of this series, 1 shutout inning.
Strike at the knees to Lorenzo Cain. 3 straight hits for Cain. He's 3 for 3 with a sacrifice fly. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Chargois had a good outing in the split doubleheader, 2 2/3 innings, trying to get the ERA back to within some realm of respectability. Yes.
He's got a good fastball. He has some movement on that fastball. His last pitch, that hard slider. 25 years old. Twins #2 pick in 2012 out of Rice University, Houston, Texas. Started this season in AA, promoted to AAA.
Sailing inside and missing.
John Thomas Chargois.
2-2 to Cain.
Who was the catcher there we had? Was it Ardois?
Danny Ardois. And now 3-2.
We had over 30,000 last night. Here this afternoon, 31,730. 2 good crowds in a row.
Well, the attendance has been better than the play, unfortunately, during this homestand. Up the middle and through for a base hit. He has his 4th hit of the afternoon.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Eric Hosmer single in 4 trips. You know, at some point the Twins are going to have to prove there's a ground ball double play. At least the hope is they'll get 2 here. And we'll stretch at first, and they do get the double play despite the juggle by Escobar. 2 down.
I'll tell you what, in this 3-game series, I've seen, you know, in the infield, Larry DeVito and his crew do a great job. For some reason, though, these balls are kind of coming up on some of these players. Now, Escobar stayed with it, quickly got it over to Dozier to complete the double play. We've seen little bad hops in the infield.
And I don't know enough about it to even begin to offer a reason why, other than the fact that, you know, even though the tarp was on the field, the infield ended up, you know, taking an awful lot of rain during the eventual rain out.
And they've thrown a lot of extra diamond dust on that infield.
That's what I guess where I was going to lead with it was, you know, to get things dried out. A lot of extra stuff, and I'm sure they plane it off. They try to, you know, take off the excess when they can. But I'm guessing that we'll have a better infield playing surface.
It's still one of the best in baseball.
And but you know, I mean, we're going to be gone for a week, then we're only going to be home for 3 days with the Tigers, and then we'll be back on the road again.
Yeah, I think sometimes we don't give enough credit to the ground crew here with Larry DeVito and his crew. You know what they had to go through, even in this homestand with the rain and taking the tarp off and on.
I was commending one of the members of the grounds crew the other day after the rain out, and then you have to get it ready for a split doubleheader, and it's just
endless work.
Immense amount of work, as heavy as the rain was. The specific thing I was amazed was, the next day we come back here and the warning track was dry, when it looked like if you'd have stepped on it the other night after the game was stopped, you'd sink in up to your knees.
And not only dry, they were watering it before the game.
2-2 to Morales. Popped up. It is back and out of play. Two and two. Royals on a nice little run. They're well on their way to winning this series, having won 3 series in a row before coming to Minnesota. The Twins will have a chance to, just missing, have a chance to beat the Royals again next weekend in a 4-game series. They've got to play better baseball.
Kansas City still feels deep down, I'm sure, that they can still catch the Cleveland Indians or get back into the wild card race. They came in 11 games behind the Indians in today's ball game, with Chicago losing. They could move into 3rd place with a victory. And Shagwal walks the batter.
Well, 2 years ago, of course, they got into the playoff field as a wild card entrant. Came back and beat Oakland in the wild card game, and before you knew it, they were in the World Series. And if not for Madison Bumgarner, they may have back-to-back World Championships to brag about. Instead, Giants won 2 years ago. Royals won last year. There's ball 1.
That's the first championship they had in Kansas City. Last one was 1985. So it was a while.
On the ground. And Escobar fires across, and Shagwal has a scoreless 8th.
In this 3rd and final game of the weekend series. And coming up after the final out, we'll bring you Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. And today we will look at another short start. This one comes from Hector Santiago, who pitched just 4 innings today, gave up 7 runs on 9 hits. Anthony LaPanta and Roy Smalley will help break down Santiago's start. And the defense today for the Twins had some struggles. 4 errors committed in this game, so we'll look at some of that, plus hear from the manager Paul Molitor, all after this final out is recorded here today. Dick and Bert.
Thank you, Marty. Chris Young facing Robbie Grossman. First pitch, strike 1. It will be Grossman, Mauer, and Vargas in the 8th inning. 0-2. Then in the ninth inning, Gordon, Escobar, and Colon will bat for Kansas City, and if anybody reaches or scores, Orlando will have a chance to complete the cycle for Kansas City if he can get a double. Been a tough day for Grossman. 0 for 3 at the plate, 2 errors in the field. And you know, as we talk about trying to get things settled, you realize how important Byron Buxton is, even in his absence. If Buxton, and the presumption is he'll get called up at least by September to play center field here. If Buxton is in center, then Rosario is in left, and those are two positions that, I mean, the Twins project that those guys will be in those positions for many years to come. Grossman swings and misses one down.
And Young picking up his second strikeout.
And so if Buxton's gone, now you've got a little bit of a rotation in center field with Rosario, sometimes Santana, and Rosario not being in left. That opens up, you know, left field for Grossman and Santana. We've seen him out there.
Yeah, but Dick, you're talking about a lot of ifs. You know, if can Buxton come up? Yeah, when he comes up, can he hit? No, yeah, he plays great center field. He's a 5-tool player, but I've said it before, you can't steal first. He's got to go down, find that swing, and to make better contact.
Fox tracks presented by Carrier. No, he had to go down. He wasn't getting it done up here.
Right.
But you know, the positions up the middle. You can argue that the Twins have a catching issue. John Ryan Murphy hitting a little over 200 at AAA, and he was supposed to be a bigger part of the team this year. All right, you got second baseman with Dozier. And have an awful lot of production there, but the Twins are still trying to resolve shortstop. And then you've got the center field issue, which also impacts left field. 1-1.
Yeah, winning clubs are always strong up the middle. Kansas City, you think of, you know, Perez behind the plate. You saw Kane last year out in center field. He, you know, they've kind of cut down some of his workload now playing in right. And you got more of the speedster Orlando in center now, but you had Escobar at short. You had Omar Infante played very good at second, you know, and he ended up getting released. Now they're going with some youngsters like, you know, Colon today, Mondesi.
But really, second base is the only position, even with Moustakas out. You know, Cuthbert's looks like he can play over at third base. Second base is the only position for the Royals where there's any kind of rotation, and the Twins still have a lot of other positions like that, where third base, shortstop, left field, center field, catcher.
And think about it, Kurt Suzuki's a free agent at the end of the year. So there's another area that they have to look at. John Ryan Murphy just has not panned out.
2-2 to Mauer.
Not yet.
And a strikeout of Mauer, 2 away.
Good slider down and in. And Joe retired. Joe retired for the first time. And Young picks up his third strikeout.
Which team has had the most different players hit a home run from both sides of the plate in the game? I thought the easy answer would be New York. I don't know if it's the right answer. The Yankees. And it is the Yankees. 12 times. 12 different players. The Twins dugout, strike one to Vargas. Yankees with 12 times it's happened, not 12 different players, but the Tigers 9 times. Astros, Dodgers, and Mets. Vargas did it. Of course, the Twins have some other switch hitters that they would like to think could do it. I could see Grossman doing it. He's shown power from both sides of the plate. We don't know about Polanco yet. Escobar's a switch hitter. Danny Santana. Behind in the count now, 0-2 to Chris Young. There's a ball hit to the right field corner, chased by Kane, and he gets there. And Young has a quick 1-2-3/8 with a pair of strikeouts. threatening to win the series 2-1. Here's what's next, brought to you by CenturyLink. An off day tomorrow, and then the Twins will have a chance to do in Atlanta what the Braves did here in their 2-game series at Target Field.
Yeah, Irvin Santana has pitched very well as of late, and Kyle Gibson, hopefully the good Kyle Gibson will show up Wednesday in Atlanta.
The Twins just can't afford to have starting pitching as ineffective as it's been. Ryan Presley will pitch to the Royals in the 9th inning. Again, if one batter scores or reaches, Paulo Orlando will have a chance to complete the cycle. He needs a double.
Well, let's hope he doesn't reach. See if Presley can get a 1-2-3 inning. Ryan worked in last night's ball game, picked up his 11th hole on the season, had one double play turn behind him.
He started it. Yeah, he made the error and then was able to get the double play started on the comebacker. Down and in.
He threw 9 pitches, 7 for strikes, so a quick inning. But Ryan making his 57th relief appearance.
Came into today tied with 2 other pitchers, Betances of the Yankees, Dyson of the Rangers, for the league lead. The Twins want to see what Presley has here in the season's 5th month, and then by the 6th month in September, when call-ups are up, I'd like to think that the Twins would ease the workload on Presley a little bit.
Well, this is the Twins' 118th game. This is his 57th. So he's been out there almost every other game.
I went up to him yesterday, jokingly, of course, and Ryan's got a good sense of humor. I said, "Are you still on the team? We haven't pitched in 4 days." 2-2. Driven to right. Kepler makes the catch. Line drive out, 1 down.
Gordon hit the ball hard, had some top spin on it, and Kepler gets it.
That'll bring up Escobar. Regarding cycles, there have been only 6 of them hit in Kansas City history. Freddie Patek did it against the Twins in 1971.
Amos Otis have one?
No, John Mayberry does. That would have been one of the more amazing triples you'd ever see.
How about George Brett?
George Brett twice, Frank White twice.
Okay. I would have thought Amos Otis. He had power, speed, great center fielder.
Wonder how many times Willie Wilson got a single, a double, and a triple, but not the home run.
Right.
1-1. And there's a base hit, so barring a double play, Orlando will have another at bat.
Escobar picking up his 3rd hit of the ball game. I'll tell you what, more and more I see Escobar, every pitch away, he reaches out. He's a diver. That ball looked like it was outer half of the plate. He just went out and hit it sharply up the middle. Now you have to really bust hard inside.
Escobar, a .263 career hitter coming into the year, and he's worked very, very hard and made himself the hitter that he is. He's not a Hall of Fame type player, but I think the Twins see in Escobar what they hoped they would have with Pedro Florimon a few years ago, a really slick fielding shortstop who could hit enough to the ball hit to left center field. Rosario makes the catch. So with 2 down, that'll bring up Orlando. Orlando with a triple in the 1st. He grounded out in the 3rd, hit a 3-run homer in the 4th, walked in the 6th, and then got a single in the 7th. Twins have only given up in their 56 years 5 cycles. Patek in 1971. Freddie Lynn did it at Fenway Park in 1980. Paul Molitor did it against the Twins while playing for the Brewers in 91. Foul. Travis Hafner did it in the Metrodome in 03. and then Adrian Beltre in 12.
You see the last one for the Royals go back to George Brett. 1990.
Won a batting championship that year for the Royals. And remains the only guy to win a batting title in 3 different decades. And Dozier has the ball skipped by him. There hasn't been one extraordinary play made. In addition to the 4 errors, there have been other plays that could have been made and haven't. I'm guessing that Orlando will get credit for a single.
A ball right up the middle. You know, we've seen the defense better. Okay, I guess that would be the best term to describe the way the Twins have played here today.
First and second, 2 down. And it is a single for Orlando. Here's Cuthbert.
Cuthbert without a hit. Royals with 16 of them.
Breaking ball over.
Good breaking ball there by Ryan.
And the inning ends. The Royals strand 2. They got a couple of hits against Presley, but Orlando only got a single when we head to the bottom of the ninth. Eleven to 4. Paulo Orlando looking at home in center field for Kansas City. He's had a good series in the field and at the plate with 4 hits today.
Hey, came into the ball game hitting .327. That went up with the 4 hits. And Drew Butera behind the plate. Drew finally gets in the game. Well, maybe the last inning. Applause all around.
Max Kepler will lead off the bottom of the ninth against Chris Young. Up and away, ball 1.
Edinson Volquez worked the first 6 innings. He gave up 4 runs, 2 earned, and it's the 8th straight start for Volquez. All starts against the Twins. He has allowed 3 earned runs or less.
And that skips under the glove of Escobar. And Kepler should get credit for a hit. And another play that, well, we've seen Escobar make that, and it's a tough play, but we've seen Hosmer have some adventures at first base.
Well, think about it. That inside out swing right there, and all that spin on the baseball as it hit the turf, you know, just kind of knocked down a little bit by Escobar, but Max Kepler will take that hit, his first.
1 for 4 for Kepler, 0 for 3 for Polanco.
Polanco's usually good for a hit a game.
Yeah. And fouled away.
Young in his 3rd inning of relief. There's 3 strikeouts. That hit by Kepler, the first he's allowed. He does have a walk.
And a chance to do something you don't see much, and I'm not sure why. The 3-inning save. He got a pretty wide open game. The Royals have had a comfortable lead since the 6th inning. And for some reason, managers still try to break the final 3 innings up with 2 or 3 pitchers used. And I know why, because now Young, assuming he gets his 3-inning save here tonight, he'll be done for a couple of days. But the 2 or 3 or 1 or 2 other pitchers that most managers would use, they get the day off today because of what Young is on the verge of doing.
Well, he's never had a major league save. I don't think that comes into play at all. Here's a guy that, you know, started the season in the rotation and got the arm to go 3 or more innings.
1 down. And that'll bring up Escobar. Escobar with a 1 for 3 afternoon. He hit the ground ball that skipped by Hosmer's glove for a 2-run single in the 4th.
Yeah, from here Kansas City goes to Detroit for a 3-game series and then go back home and face us for 4 games.
Where there will be barbecue. 1-0 to Escobar. And now 1-1. One and 2. Again, the Twins on the road for a week, then they come home for 3 games with the Tigers. And they're back on the road again. Just 10 home games in August, and this homestand has been a very disappointing one for the Twins, with what appears to be just 2 wins out of the 7 games. The first game in the Astros series and the middle game of the Kansas City series. Up high 2-2. Hopper and a double play will end the series. Young with his first major league save. Hosmer makes sure he gets the baseball, a keepsake for the tall right-hander, and the Royals beat the Twins 2 out of 3.
It's a good Kansas City ball club, but again, for the Twins, it all comes down to starting pitching. Hector Santiago was not very sharp here today, and defensively, the Twins played an ugly ball game defensively.
An off day to get it out of their system in the hopes that they'll have a good road trip. They played better on the road than they have at home as of late. And Anthony will see what happens with the off day tomorrow and whether the Twins can regroup after a disappointing homestand finale.
Disappointment at home for certain. Disappointment against the Royals is nothing new. Kansas City's won 7 of 9 head-to-head this year. 11-4 today. We'll look at the short start for Santiago. Hear from Paul Molitor and preview the road trip next on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink.